there. Fire jumping from the coil. Now this coil here was over there, and I moved it over here to see if the engine would throw a code again, and if the code would change. Because right now it showed it in #1 cylinder. Now I'm looking to see if it moved it to a different cylinder, and it looks like to me it's going to. She keeps arcing off. Looks like she's going to need a coil. Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm working on a Mazda Protege 5. They said it is running really rough, and the man said that he thought it might have a misfire, and he said the check engine light was on, so I plugged it in and it said there was a misfire on #1 cylinder. So I come around to #1 cylinder, and I took the coil off, and this is the one that was actually on #1 cylinder, and I just swapped the coils around. I cleared my codes, I did another scan on it, I ran the car a little bit, and the check engine light finally came on, and the misfire moved. It went from #1 cylinder to #2 cylinder. So this coil here runs #1 cylinder and #4 cylinder. This coil that sits here runs #2 cylinder and #3 cylinder. So that told me there was something wrong with the coil. And by that time I started hearing some ticking, and like fire was jumping. So I got looking around and seen the spark jumping off and grounding itself to the top of the engine cover. And they kind of need this car back. So I looked up some coils. They're not that expensive, but they can't afford to pay for them right now. No big deal. So I pulled the coil off and found the exact spot that the fire was coming out at, the spark. So I took and cleaned it up, and right here on the coil, right there was a hole in the plastic, and I was allowing that spark to shoot out from that hole and ground itself out. So a temporary fix, and it's up to them if they want it to be temporary or forever. And I epoxied it. I scuffed it up. I cleaned it off with some cleaner, mixed up some epoxy, and I epoxied it. And somebody might say that might not be the right thing to do, and that's fine, because epoxy can be used on this application. And if you don't think so, that's nothing but epoxy right there. All of that is epoxy right in there. So yes, it can be. So we're going to see if this works. We'll put this on, we'll fire it up, and we'll see if the grounding stops. If it works, it will get them by for a little while until they're ready and able to buy new coils. Don't forget to reinstall your boot. It just pushes on. That's all it does. Whoops. Gotta have that. Oh boy. And the other time they wouldn't want to come out of there. Just slide it on. Set your coil in place. Give it a little wiggle. Drop your screws in. Get them started by hand. Snug them up. Plug your coil boot in. Plug your wire harness in. And make sure you tuck your plug wires away in the little clips that are there for you. Make sure everything's good and out of the way. Make sure you clean up all your tools so nothing falls into a bad spot. And let's fire this thing up and see what happens. That thing is smooth as butter. Before, it was running so rough, everything was sitting there shaking and jumping. Now, just as smooth as can be. I don't hear the spark firing off. And when you look down in there, you could actually see the fire when it was sparking off. So, I think we fixed it for now. Like I say, it's a temporary fix. When they get their money right, we can get them some coils. It's up to them. This might be good enough for them. That's up to them. So, seems like to me everything's running good though. So there's just a first time I ever tried anything like that. I just seen that spark coming out of the side of that coil. I knew they couldn't get any coils right now. They need the car back. I just said, what the heck, let's try it. Let's see what happens. So I taught myself a little trick. Now you guys know a little trick. So I hope you like the content. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Send me some comments. Be kind. And help people when you can.